Hello everyone, today we've got this Camaro. No idea if it's going to start, don't know a whole lot about it. We have got some fresh gas, got a jump pack, a battery, got the keys for it. Hopefully the doors unlock. Let's get started. Alright, so first thing I'm noticing here is the hood pins are real. I've seen a lot of fake ones, but these are real. I'm not sure if there's a latch there. I pulled the latch on the inside and it didn't feel like it was doing anything. It just felt like it was free. I have a lock on here. Alright, so got the hood open. There was no actual latch, it's all gone. So it's just got the pins apparently. And it seems like it works well. The hood struts are completely gone. That's why there's this board here. The board was actually down here. It looks like there's a piece of metal rod as well. So let's see what we've got. This is supposed to be a 1985, so I don't believe that engine is original, being a center bolt valve covers. I believe that's a newer engine. Not entirely sure what year that would be. And we've got a Holley carburetor on the front. There's some ugly mess here. Looks like a tensioner. Got headers. Looks like a bit of intake stuff there. Yeah, it looks like it's plugged off right there. It's quite the plenum. It looks like a custom-made strut bar. It's got a fuel pump regulator, it looks like. Radiator actually looks kind of nice. Yeah, radiator doesn't look that bad. I got some generic heater hose, it looks like. That looks like, yeah, it would be for the heater, I think. HEI distributor back there, looks like. Yeah. It's actually clear. It's interesting, it's clear cap. And the manifold is a Iroc torquer. Alright, so just getting ready to put the battery in and notice the first major bit of rust here, the battery tray. I believe that you can actually buy this panel itself, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm pretty sure you can buy that, and it's just spot welds in. Yeah, I can feel spot welds there. And then you can replace that, and it doesn't look like it goes past the battery panel itself. It looks like it's just the battery panel. So it's not too bad. Quite the hole there. Alright, that's not too bad. Let's get a battery in it. We'll go from there. Alright, so I checked the engine oil and it's good. The dipstick is it's pretty loose here. It's supposed to be bolted to the header, it looks like. But it's not, so I'm not really sure why that is. It's kind of sloppy. And It's a bit of a wiring mess here. It looks like it's got the wrong spark plug wires. They're the wrong length or whatever, and they're just not very tidy. And then I don't know why the wiring harness goes the way it does on this one. It's almost like, I wonder if it was a fuel injected car originally. That would make a bit of sense for the amount of wiring that seems like extra around this thing. That side's not as bad, but over here we've got a bunch of stuff going all around, and yeah, it's a mess. If I get this thing running, I'm gonna have to clean up a lot of wiring, it looks like. But that's not the end of the world. And we've also got ground wire that looks like speaker wire. Looks like old speaker wire. It's fairly thick, so I mean, maybe it works. We will find out. So here's the engine oil. Here, I'll just show you guys. Kind of tough to see on there. It's dark, but it's actually quite a golden dark color, so it's not just black like a lot of times you'll see. It doesn't look like, I mean, on a scale of horrible to horrible, it's not too horrible. It should be good enough to start it. Now I'm tempted to take the valve covers off and just put a little squirt of oil on the rocker arms, but to be honest, if it needs a new engine, that's probably not going to help it anyways. It'll probably be the cylinders. I can find an LS engine for this fairly cheap anyways. I don't know what this one would be. It's obviously a 5.7 liter, I would assume. I don't know what year it would be though. It doesn't look like it's, I would say maybe early 90s. It's newer than the car, I can tell that much. Okay, so the battery terminals, I cleaned them up a bit before I put it all together, but the wires are not in the best of shape. They're pretty corroded, so I peeled back, cut back some of the insulation, and it actually doesn't look too bad as you go further back. It looks like it will need new wiring. You can get that for these things. It's not a big deal. It's like $30 for the starter harness and the battery ground. So I'm just gonna test. I'm pretty sure the battery is good. Put that one in there, and yeah, so we got 12.6. That's plenty. Let's see back here. Yeah, so it's not a very good connection. Okay, so there we go. Now let's see in here. Okay, so yeah, that should work. So let's put that one in there. And now let's test this one. Yeah, we lost a little bit. Yeah, we've lost a little bit of connection. Well, no, we're good. Yeah, should be good. Okay, let's see if it'll crank over. Alright, so this is an interesting bit of a mess. So it looks like it's got some aftermarket gauges put in here. It's got a tachometer hiding down here. Got the usual dashboard cracks. Windshield is cracked. It's not in horrible shape. It's not in great shape. But for a free car, we will see. Transmission's missing a thing, but it's all here. So there's no ignition though. Like, as you can see, the ignition be over here, and there isn't one. Like, there's just no ignition, so it must all be on these. So, and this is loose. Okay, that just turned on some stuff. So that one says engine start. Let's see, does it crank over? Whoa, okay. Okay, that cranking it over. Okay, so this must be main power, and that starts it. Let's see, what does this do? Okay, I can hear the fuel pump. Okay, that one's fuel pump. What does this one do? Oh, we got gauges lit up. Okay. What does this one do? Nothing. I'm not sure what this one does. Nothing so far. So this one seems to be like an accessory power. And we got nothing on this one either. Okay. So that's the fuel pump. So I can hear it running in the tank. Okay, let's turn this stuff off. Let's check out the carburetor. Okay, so we've got a Holley double pumper. Let's see, what's the number on it? It is 4777, so I think that makes it a 650. I can tell right away this is a mechanical secondary. The vacuum lines here look to be in okay shape. I don't see any cracks or anything in them. Shouldn't leak. Fuel line looks to be good. Running all the way to a fuel regulator. So that makes sense why it's got a fuel regulator, is because it's got electronic fuel pump with a carburetor. So you wouldn't want the, so it probably was a fuel injected car. And you wouldn't want the fuel injection PSI for a carburetor. So we got some messy linkage here, or spring and linkage. Let's take a closer look, see if it's working. Oh, one quick note, if you guys wonder why I'm starting on this so late in the day, it is because this thing is a wasp nest. Everywhere on this car is wasps, and when it's cooler in the day, they don't do much. When it's hot, you probably get stung. So right now he's still on there and he's moving around a little bit. But he's not attacking me. So that's why I'm doing this a little later in the day. Alright, so when I turned the fuel pump on, it sounded like it was just pumping air. So let's take a look here. So when I turn the throttle, it should squirt fuel from right here and right here. Those are the squirters. So let's see. Yeah, so we're not squirting any fuel. Alright, so I added a full jerry can to the tank, so, and also, better check this real quick, it's not leaking anything. So, the tank is in a weird spot on these cars. It's up above the differential, but I don't see any drips. So, should be good. Also, I want to point out something here. If I do get it running, as you can tell, it's a little bit off the ground. It's actually, all four corners here are sitting on top of truck wheels. So it's got the factory wheels on it, it looks like, rally wheels. But it's sitting up on top of truck rims and tires, front and back. So I think it'll be a fairly solid car. I'll have to take a look under it. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get that fuel pump sound like it's priming up instead of just pumping air. So, okay, it sounded different already. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let it do its thing for a minute. Oh wow. Okay, it just sounded like it was really pumping up right there. Okay, so it definitely sounded like it primed up. Let's see if there's anything in the carburetor. Oh, the carburetor is dripping now, actually. Something's dripping here. Yeah, so it's dripping, so the carburetor is going to need a rebuild, that's for sure. So this bolt is dripping, and yeah, this bolt is wet as well. So I think it's safe to say fuel made it to both bowls. So let's see if the throttle, if it squirts now. We've got nothing still. Unless it's only made it so far. I wonder if the bowls are actually a little bit frozen. If I tap on them with something. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got both sides on the front squirting now. We've got no rear though. Just tapping on it lightly so don't break it. It's only cast aluminum. Okay, we've got no squirting on the back. Should squirt on the back, I believe, with full throttle. Okay, so I'll show you guys here. So, got the front here squirting, the back is not. Alright, let's see if it'll start. Just fired right up. Like, I cannot believe it. I thought it was going to be a cloud of blue, and it just started right up. And it actually sounds pretty good. Okay, I think the exhaust comes out the back. It's idling really high. Okay, and it just died. Okay, so I realized why it died. I did not have the fuel pump on. So I just turned it on. Let's see if it'll start again here. Let's turn the gauges on with the fuel pump. Okay, now I can hear it all. Okay, it's just clicking now. Okay, I got a jump pack connected to give it some extra voltage. Oh, and I'm going to mention before people lose it at me, I did check the coolant off camera. The overflow only has a tiny little bit in it, as you can see there, but the radiator is completely full to the top of green coolant. And I believe green is probably all this should have in it. I haven't tested it to see if it's still good or not. I'm just assuming that it's good. Anyways, let's see with more voltage if it'll crank over. Okay, so it will not crank over. Let's check, see. Alright, so the camera died. I just got charged up real quick. Hopefully it lasts. So the battery jump back was actually dead. And the battery here is not dead, but it's not doing very good. So I've got this little guy. See if it can assist that. And we'll see you again. Okay, so it seems like this thing is unsure of if it should jump it. I also found another thing that's kind of neat. So I got the rear to start squirting here. It's not squirting right now, but the pump right here. So now it's free. Oh, okay, so it's actually empty now. The rear bowl is empty. So I tapped on this a couple times with the hammer very lightly, freed it up, and it leaked a ton of fuel at the bottom, which cleaned off some of this crappy paint. So there's benefits there. But anyways, now the rear was working. So that was the problem, was it was seized. And I don't think it's actually moving the full amount that it's supposed to. Okay, let's see if it'll crank over with that help on there. Alright, so I just realized something was, I had a set of jumper cables and the Jeep here. So I'm going to see if the Jeep can charge up the battery a bit and see if we can get it to crank it over again. Okay, so flat charge for a fair bit more. I tried it again, just clicky. So I reached in there with a tiny little hammer and tapped against the starter a few times to see if that does anything. And there it is, it's running again. So it must be the starter has got a little bit of corrosion or something. Let's fire it up with some fuel. And I think this one was the gauges, yes. Okay, pump some gas here. Should be good. Okay, we're running again. Sounds good. So we got a wiring issue. There is nothing happening on any of these. So I fired it up again. I'm just trying to run it till the carburetor runs out of fuel. I don't have the fuel pump on. Just try to empty it out, and then I'm gonna have to pull that carburetor off and rebuild it. So yeah, the carburetor definitely needs to be rebuilt. As soon as I got this one pumping, it just pours fuel out. It's not even actually squirting into the carburetor, it's leaking so bad. So the diaphragm's definitely gone on that one. That's why when I'm trying to rev it, it's probably got so much hesitation. That's probably why. It also doesn't have a choke. Can see it's even blocked off right there. The front one's leaking lots too, but it is still squirting. So just trying to get this thing emptied out and soaking up the raw gas. It's taking the paint, this red paint off, which is kind of nice. And then I'll have to take this off, order a rebuild kit, and get it rebuilt. Alright everyone, I just took the weed eater around it, get the weeds out from underneath it, and also now you guys can kind of see what it's talking about it's sitting up on top of truck wheels. So the tire down here actually has a rim in it, and that's why it's sitting so high. And the rear actually has bigger wheels there. I don't know, maybe the front ones are like a car wheel, and then the backs are a truck wheel or something. The back is higher up. Same way all around, and that's made so that it's sitting up like it's got a fair bit of clearance off the ground here. Now we can also actually see the exhaust. So it's got side pipe exhaust. That's why it was the exhaust looked like it was coming out of here, because it is. Both sides. Look under the rear here. I believe it's supposed to have fins going down the side as well. I'm not sure why these are like that. Anyways, let's look under the rear here. So, other than being dirty, it looks to be pretty solid. I don't see any rust. Like there's surface rust on the differential there, but that's not a big deal at all. The bolts on the bottom of the shocks there look to be new, so I'm not sure, maybe it had new shocks at one time before it got parked. The frame rail looks solid all the way down right there. See if we can look under the door here at the floor. I was looking at it earlier and it looked very solid. So that's the driver's side. Looks very solid. Looks like the transmission pan is chrome. I'm not sure what transmission is actually in this other than it's an automatic. I believe they come with a 700 R4, but when I was looking at that pan closer, it didn't look like a 700 R4 pan. So I'm not entirely sure what it is. Let's look under this side. So once again, this side all very solid as well. I don't see any rust actually going through, or there's not even any surface rust on the bottom. It looks like it's been undercoated. So yeah, it looks like it's a pretty solid car to start with. All the tires are flat, so it should actually be sitting up a little bit higher even. But it looks like it's about to fall off on this one, slowly working its way down. I think a lot of the paint on it here just needs to be washed. I don't see like yeah, there's a bit of like a surface, like a tree mold kind of growing on it, but I don't actually see anywhere that it's rusted. It all looks to be completely solid. So I'm thinking a really good wash will probably do it a lot. The hood is all peeled, so realistically the whole car would need to be repainted. Realistically, I don't know if I'm going to do that. Yeah, so that's going to be a cap for this video. I'm pretty shocked I got it run and fired up without too much trouble. Like, I mean, realistically, cranked it over a bit to begin with to make sure it wasn't stuck or seized. And then by the time I had that carburetor working properly, we dumped a fair bit of fuel down the intake, so it had everything it needed to fire up. And when it did, it didn't smoke or anything. It actually ran pretty good other than a super high idle. So like, but I mean, the carburetor is definitely worn out. It needs to be rebuilt completely. But it did run. I can't drive it until I get it off these truck wheels that it's sitting on top of. I just looked under it and it is completely solid underneath. There's actually no rust on this car, very surprising. But then again, I guess because the boards that have been under it, the pieces of plywood, it hasn't really had a chance for things to actually grow under it. So that's definitely helped it out. So I've ordered a bunch of parts for it, and hopefully they're in soon. We can continue on to the next video. I can't wait to try to drive this. I don't know, it's badged as an RS, but it has an Iroc style hood. It's would have only come on the Irocs, and it's missing the louvers, but you can see there's actually holes for the louvers here, like holes all around. So it was meant to actually have the louvers. They're pretty popular to steal too. But yeah, as you can see here, it's badged as an RS, but it doesn't seem to have any of the stock drivetrain from what I can tell. I don't know what rear end is in it. The transmission doesn't appear to be a 700R4, it appears to be something else. It's got a chrome pan, I'll show you guys that. And the engine is a much newer engine. So I'm not really sure what is going on with it, but it's interesting, and hopefully we will get it down off this these truck wheels underneath it, get it down on the ground, and be able to see if it'll move on its own. So that'll be the next video, so be sure to like and subscribe, and it'll be coming up hopefully pretty soon. Thanks for watching.